Hello, everybody.
Yo, yo.
Here we go.
So this is CMB's first live, and we have Ben with Rooted Reptile, and he works with us here at CMB, and we've got Joey from North Rims Designs with us. And we're basically going to just chat a little bit about carpet pythons today. None of us are experts by any means, but we wanted to go ahead and just have a little discussion about how we're into them. Recently I've been head over heels for them. I can't get enough of them. So I've just caught the bug recently. But do you want to give us a little overview, Ben, on what you know about the carpet python? I know you know a lot of the Latin names and stuff like that, and I know that there's different subspecies to carpets. If you have a few things you could just kind of fill us in on about them.
No, totally. Like you said, definitely no expert, very novice, but I know that they're split into a couple of different species. Got diamonds, coastals, Papuans, which I believe have been recently classified as Papuans. I think they were Irian Jayas before that. And there's probably some other ones that are escaping me, but my experience with carpets is the first python species that I kept in my own collection. I got a coastal to Irian Jaya Papuan carpet cross, and I was hooked. Like, that's what got me into arboreal snakes. Everyone was telling me, "Oh, you should get a ball python. You'll really like that." And it was when I first started, and nothing really appealed to me about the ball python keeping and their habits and everything. I've always liked vertical, taller stuff, and I got a carpet python and set it up, arboreally, and watching it eat out of the tree and just kind of hanging by its tail was so sick, and I was hooked ever since. But they are classified under Morelia right now. I'm not sure as to the second part of a lot of their Latin names, but yes, they are a Morelia.
Nice. Yeah, they come in a wide variety of sizes too, and
Sure.
The coastals I think being the biggest, but and they have a lot of varieties of colors and some different morphs. To me, it was almost just like not discovering. Of course, I knew about them, but I wasn't really into them. And now I'm starting to get into the different morphs that they have and the different patterns and colorations that you can produce or buy of these type of snakes. I've pretty much got a list of the ones I want. It's going to take me about 8 carpets to get all the genetics I want, unless I get some with stacked genes. But I've got 6. I want to get a couple hypos. So I got 2 xanthics, 2 jungles. I've got 2 granites that are end of next month scheduled to be here from Germany. And then I've been talking to TJ about hypos, but I'm not really sure where I'm gonna get those from. But that'll be my next. Once I have those, I think it's pretty much the genes that I personally want to work with. So it's pretty exciting. What do you think, Joey? You got a carpet.
Oh yeah, no, I think they're probably my top snake to work with, man. Ben, he mentioned quite a few of them. I don't know if you mentioned the Darwins or the Jungles, but I mean, there's so much variety in these things, and the Bredli too. Like, I got one right here. There's a ton of variety. I mean, and a lot of the genes are still new. A lot of the morphs are still new. Like, there's still a lot to be discovered with these things, and a lot to be made. The carpet community is a pretty purist community, so a lot of the time, like with these old school breeders, they're sticking to pure locality stuff. Xanthic granites, jungles are kind of their own thing. Darwins, you're not really going to find anything else but albino. But with the crosses, I mean, you can there's endless possibilities with them, for sure. And I'm one.
I know.
I think that's part of the fun with it is that you can go either route with it, right? Either go totally purist and just stay within their own species, subspecies, and just kind of line breed stuff. Or you can start mixing stuff together, because plenty of people have been doing it since, you know, the beginning of carpets, and go that route and just make some really cool, funky stuff. I think it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. I find myself on the fence on it for sure, but you know, there's so much cool stuff to be made. I mean, I saw this dude the other day. He had like a jungle diamond jag breadline cross, like every single cross you could imagine was in this snake, and it was gorgeous. So I mean, you know, you just you kind of pick your side sometimes, but I find myself on the fence for sure. Like, I want to keep this Brettles pure, probably never cross into anything, but then
totally,
like, I have crosses, and they're some of my favorite snakes, you know. So,
right.
Yeah, I'll probably be in between for a long time until I'm not. But
one thing that Ben brought up is his being his first snake, and I go through this at the shop a lot, is finding the best first snake for somebody isn't always a carpet. I mean, not a carpet, but isn't always a ball python. It's not always a corn snake. I mean, I have people coming in here that says, I've been doing research on retics. I've never had a snake before. And I go, oh my God, you know, this isn't what you want to start with, is what I'm thinking. But a lot of times they'll explain to me, they've learned everything, they know what they're in for, I've got a good feel for them, and I go, yeah, I think you can do it, but you may need to lean on me, here's my card. And that's kind of like what I do with most people. So some people are just determined to get the species they want right off the bat, but most people come in wanting your recommendation for what you think is appropriate for a beginner snake, which I think is a corn snake. Just because it eats better than a ball python. But a lot of people want that python feel, so I let them know, hey, you may have issues with these males eating during breeding season, so don't freak, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I think ball pythons are nowadays probably not anywhere close to being a good quote-unquote beginner or first snake to have, you know, just because of their eating. And I mean, they do require things, you know, they need high humidity sometimes, or higher humidity, I should say, and they need some heat. Carpets are pretty laid back, man. I mean, if you're okay getting nipped here and there with a baby, they're super hardy snake. I almost never spray mine, and I've never had a bad shed once, you know, like, and unless you're getting into diamonds.
I was just going to say,
yeah, like, you're pretty, unless you're into diamonds, like, you're pretty solid. Put them in a room.
Diamonds are cool, man. Like, they're almost like the Bolins, right, of carpets, where they will tolerate, from what I've heard. I haven't kept diamonds before, but done a good bit of research on them, and I know people that keep them, and they can tolerate, like, you know, into the, you know, 40s. I've heard lower, but, you know, they like it cold. They'll be out basking in the daytime, and they also like a lot of ventilation, and they also like high humidity, because, you know, the altitude that they're typically found in and whatnot. But they're like chameleons of carpet pythons.
Yeah, diamonds are super. I haven't personally kept them. I would love to get into them if I could ever afford to, but they, you know, that symptom that everyone first talked about back in the beginning days of owning diamonds, which is diamond syndrome, all that was people overheating them. That's all it was, you know. I mean, they're a perfectly healthy snake if you keep them at 60 to 75, you know, like low 80s max.
Right. It's like a green tree python. Just keep them like ambient, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you have crested geckos, put them in your crested gecko room and they'll be fine, you know?
That's what I didn't want. I didn't want to deal with the I love the diamonds. I really wanted to get diamonds, but I don't want to heat and provide different temperatures during breeding. And that's really, since I have so many other things I'm focused on, that's why I decided not to do diamonds. And to be honest, I decided not to do Jaguar or Ocelot. Ocelot comes from Jaguar, and they both have the wobble. The last thing you want is these long teeth fuckers biting you, full
Yeah.
grown, you know, missing the food and grabbing your hand, wobbling around. That just doesn't
Totally.
sound like a good combination to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's-
a lot of the hobby is moving away from like spider, jag, and they're becoming harder animals to sell. You know what I mean? So like, if you're going to be producing stuff, it's already a setback if you're going to produce stuff with a wobble, because the hobby's moving away from caring about that. You know what I mean? Like, they care
Yeah.
about the healthier animal, not the cooler
Right.
animal.
Right.
Yeah,
and
it sucks
it's
because they are so cool looking, you know.
they really are, and they're spread throughout morph market. I mean, that's got to be the biggest gene. They are really, that jag is embedded into the carpet python.
It makes snakes look badass.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I mean, you can find. I think there's no real, you know, like totally healthy jag that really exists. I think there's. I mean, I've heard some dudes use like a scale for the health of
Yeah,
those
for sure.
jags, but I have seen decently healthy jags, you know, but I just, like you said, I don't see a reason to pump more into the market when we know what it can do to the gene pool. I mean, carpets they're already getting lost in the sauce when it comes to locality. There's no need to pump more jag into the mix. So
I shied away from those completely. I don't even want anything, nothing.
yeah, no, there's no need for them. As cool as they are, because they are really nice looking snakes, there's just no benefit in my mind to produce them. And I know a couple dudes who do produce them. I mean, I'm not hating on those guys if you're listening. Like, I love your
No,
snakes,
totally.
man. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't want to do it myself. But
So you've got the Brettles. Is that the only carpet that you have?
me,
Yeah.
that's the only one I have out right now. No, I have a few others. I've sold quite a few animals this year just because I'm moving and life's kind of been in an interesting space. So I only have the 3, I think. Yeah, I only have the 3 right now. So I have this Brettles. Yeah, he's just a normal pure Brettles, although he is super dark. And then I've got a Snow. So she's het for Xanthic, het for Granite, or het for Albino. And she could be het for Granite, which would be sweet because there's not a lot of triple hets out there. So I'm hoping she proves out. That would be really cool. She's got I'll bring her out later. She's got like all sorts of speckling. I mean, she's not clean at all, and I love it. So I think she'll prove. And then I do have a het Xanthic, het Granite, who should be ready to breed soon.
That's the one we were going to put to one of mine, right? To see if mine's granite because it's 50%.
Yeah, she's the one because she's 100% het for both and just epic. I mean, if you didn't know what to look for, you'd think she was a visual Xanthic. She is black and white, man.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
once
well,
I move, I'm gonna get more.
I know, man. I got the fever. One thing I did learn recently is that not so much in America, but in the other parts of the world, the carpet python is a beginner snake, which is strange to me because they're nippy as babies. But maybe they just tell their kids these are snakes. You know, I mean, maybe it's a different cultural upbringing or something,
Different mindset.
but a different mindset. But you know, like in Australia, they absolutely are the beginner snake for people who want to keep them.
Oh yeah.
And in other parts of the world, they're more looked at as a beginner snake. And I think a lot of that has to do with the humidity requirements too, the husbandry. Hey man,
I
You
think,
know?
A little more forgiving.
Yeah, I think they just haven't been worked with enough in the U.S. to really even be considered in that category. I mean, we've basically domesticated the ball python. You know, like, I think once more people kind of realize what these snakes are and what they can be, it'll start to go that way. Because, like I said, as long as you don't get into the diamonds, you know, you got to deal with nips for a month, you know, and then they're done. Like, they realize who you are, and then they're all good.
Well, I've got 3 in hand. I've got 3 more on the way, but 2 of the 3 of mine are biters. And I don't mean defensive biting in the cage. I mean out handling them, turn around, tag you.
Yeah. That's how this snake is mean as hell. Like, he will bite me if I make a quick movement on him.
Yeah, I notice I need to move differently around the carpets than the retics.
Yeah.
Just need to be a little more cautious. They're more up in that S shape, ready to tag you mostly, you know. Yeah. And it hurts, man. They got longer teeth than a little retic. I mean, I got tagged.
I think they bite down blood too. Like, they really go for it too.
Yeah, I've never fed one of my carpets and not had them rip the tail off of a rat. Like, every time I feed, they just pull that thing right off, because I usually hold them by the tail. They rip it clean off, man. Like, they pack a punch.
You hand feed them?
No, my tongs.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I don't want to. No, I'm not that nuts, dude.
I always grab by like the scruff of the rat's neck when I go to feed, just because like I used to grab by the tail, and I don't know. I feel like my snakes would always just end up wrapping my tongs, like.
Really?
or they would just eat the snake, eat the rat or the mouse like ass first, and like. Just drive me crazy, so I just kind of just like put it in her face now.
There you go.
Choice.
Yeah, that's.
We got Loeb's Exotics. We got Loeb's Exotics on here. You know them,
that's
Joey?
My boy, dude.
Yo.
What's up? What up, Loeb's? That dude's awesome. That dude has a great collection, man. You guys should check him out on Instagram if you get a chance. He is a cool guy.
Hey, one thing, Joey, I know you had somebody up north that had mentioned the white throat a few times. I did put that white throat up for sale because I got midnight. Dana made me put one of the babies up for sale. So, you know, if you talk, I kept the smaller one.
Oh.
I want the best chance at a girl. I'm pretty sure both of them are. Even the bigger one looks female still, but I'm taking the best chance I got.
Next time I'm at my local shop, I'll see if that chick still works there, and I'll mention it to her. She was the one always wanting one, but I don't know, dude. I feel like every time one of those employees is asking me to hook them up with something, and then I give them the opportunity to get something, they're always like, "Oh no, I can't right now." It's like, well, fuck, dude. I did the work. I found you something. Come on.
Yeah. Timing's got to be right for most people with the cash and stuff, you know.
Right. Yeah. Especially so I used to work at a reptile store, daily, and I had coworkers, and obviously everyone always wants everything, but when you're in that type of atmosphere, cash flow is always so limited. So people will give you the best opportunity, and you're like, man, I make $11 an hour.
Right.
That's how I feel like. Anytime I hear people working in the trade, like really in it, that's how it always is. And then they leave, and then the world's their oyster.
Yeah, I follow that pattern. Yeah,
that is how it goes.
So I got all this wood, Joey. I got it all out, labeled, displayed. I cut some of it up a little bit to get some smaller pieces, but it looks good, man. We got tons of wood in here now, Ben. It's what we had before. Now we got double that.
You've been selling it,
dude. So what's the story behind your sandblasting unit?
So basically, I don't know if you know where I live, Ben, but I live in a super small town. I've been here most of my life, so I know everybody. And my buddy, one of my buddies, he owns a welding company here in town. And
so you're sandblasting steel?
No, well, he sandblasts steel, but I hit him up and I was like, hey dude, I'm tired of sending my wood out. Like, so I kind of worked a deal with him where I buy him sand and he lets me use his blaster. And, you know, just the way that we kind of have it set up in there, it's in its own kind of contained Connex box, like a storage container.
Yeah.
So I don't ever have to, like, I barely ever go through media when I blast. We just reuse it all. So
That's so sick.
it ends up being super cheap and it works out. Yeah, so I can stop. So I'm telling you, this snake will tag you. So, but yeah, so I just blast in the unit whenever I need to, and it works out really well. And he's a buddy of mine, so he's always cool with it. I mean, it works out well. I think when he's supposed to be buying a bigger blaster here soon. So I think when he does that and I move into my new house here end of this month, I'm gonna probably just go buy a Connex box and then he buy his blaster off of him to where I can just do it at my house instead of going over to his shop and messing with his workflow. But he doesn't mind. He's cool.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's great. That's great.
I feel like that's a good transition into so carpets obviously are semi-arboreal. You know, you're going to be up in the branches, up in the trees. How are you guys keeping your carpets right now? Are you giving them perches, just basking platforms, elevated hides, or are you just kind of, what are you guys doing right now?
I've got mine are babies. Mine are all a year or younger. So I've got them in tubs right now. Okay. So they're just tubbed, but inside the tub, I've got a little perch from Perchcraft. And
shout out.
Yeah. Definitely. And so thanks TJ for those. But I put those in with the carpets and I got a little hide and I did put substrate in the tubs. I made it really nice, some greenery. Tried to get a little bit of enriched. Yeah, they're nice little setups. Right. But I think what you need eventually, like I heard carpets do best in tubs when they're babies. Then you want to move them into a minimum of a 4x2x2 for life. And I don't know if you want to put a coastal in there, but you could definitely put some of the smaller varieties. Could do well in a 4x2. I mean, if you give them 4x3, 4 tall, whatever you give them, they're going to use. Right. But you want to give them at least 2 feet.
Yeah. I think a 4x2x2 is like a pretty bitchin' setup. Like a lot of people do smaller, honestly. So like if you could do that, your snakes are gonna thrive for sure.
Yeah.
Long term, right? That's years down the road. What I've kind of experienced and what I've heard from other keepers is they're pretty slow growers, you know. And some people keep them in rack systems their whole lives. Is that the best? You know, maybe for breeding situations, but I feel like to truly appreciate the snake, like nicer, larger display cages, like they're a good one to have.
Yeah. And they are super slow growers. I keep mine in tubs for the most part until I decide to build them out. But I have pretty tall tubs, you know. They're I don't know, 18, 20 inches tall. And then I just run PVC. I do 2 PVC pieces going to the width, and then I do one above those lengthwise. Give them space to and they chill on those pretty much all day. I do have a Perchcraft perch in there, and I have a small hide, but that's about it. I run a small heat mat on the side of the tub because I don't know. I'm not a big ambient guy when it comes to my snakes.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to give them a place to get really hot and then a place to kind of cool off. So I'm not an ambient guy. I keep my room ambient, but they definitely have a hot spot to go to.
Totally. I'm a big ambient guy in the sense that I run all of the snakes ambient and I don't give heat lamps, but I give them LED heat lights or like LED lights above every tub. And I've found that the ground will be about, 80 degrees in the daytime, but on the perches, kind of closer to the LED lights, it gets like 84. Nice. Just from the LEDs being on. and that's like my ambient, but that's, I agree with you. Like the snake needs to be warm. Like it has to go like heat up, right? Or else what the hell are we doing? You know?
Yeah.
People just keeping snakes at like 79 degrees consistently. Like, yeah, that's no good. No good.
Yeah, it's tough to reason it, because I do understand, you know, fire danger is a big deal, and I understand that, but I don't know, man. I just, you know, a snake has different gradients in life, so I feel like you definitely need to provide it, and especially with carpets, I mean, they can get fucking hot.
Totally.
You know, so I like to give them that. I mean, I think their basking spot runs at like 90.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they suck to that thing like all day long. They are on that heat mat
for sure.
So yeah.
Right now, I'm not keeping any carpets. I'm doing mostly like indo stuff. But yeah, I know, like, bro, yeah, you see videos of carpets just like sitting on power lines or the tops of trees, like in Australia. Like, you know, it's hot. Like they're just directly basking in the sun. Like,
yeah,
dude, yeah, they're cooking and they're living life.
They soak it up, man. They like to be hot, and then at night, you know, they wake up and they start moving around. Like all day long, they're just heating up for that nighttime hunt, pretty much. So,
yeah.
I've got mine hatchlings here with back heat in a rack, but
nice.
My retics at home, I think I've told, well, you guys know, but I heat to 88 during the day for 12 hours, about 9 hours. Then for the rest of the day and into the evening and night and morning, I keep it at 80. 78 sometimes, 89, 90 sometimes. I'll vary it by 2 degrees, just like it would be in nature, but I have it set up that way. So I don't have heat pads. I've got a humidifier. I don't spray. And it seems like a really good way to take care of a lot of snakes if you can, I'm saying if you can put them in an area that's easy to maintain humidity and heat. Like if you have them out in the living room, that's hot, and that's not going to work. But right. You know, but if you have them in an enclosed space, I found it to be the best way to keep their heat. The only thing I do have a little concern about, and I'm still concerned about, I haven't seen anything bad. My snakes are really healthy, but when you don't give them that option for the gradient, is that doing them a disservice, or is giving them or what I'm doing, giving them the heat during the day and the cooler temps at night, is that more emulate and give them what they need for the same thing?
Right.
Because at any time of the day, they can't pick, okay, I want to be cooler now. They can't.
If they wanted to be cooler, they would go sit in the water bowl.
They do that.
You know what I mean? So if they have that option, I think that's okay. I think that's perfect.
It's worked really well. They're in the middle
of the jungle. Like a lot of the times, retics especially, like they're not gonna have access to direct sunlight, right? Like so, the temperature fluctuation isn't gonna be as easy to go source out. They're gonna be stuck to a pretty consistent temperature. But at night, it's gonna get significantly cooler. So I think if they were too hot or they wanted to get cooler, they would go in that water bowl. And if they're doing that, then you know they are significantly cooler than the ambient temperature.
I was gonna say that with the tropical snakes, I mean, they're constant all the time. I mean, they don't have that opportunity of fluctuation typically. I mean, they might have a couple degrees here and there, but it's always hot, humid, and they're under the canopy.
Exactly. So, they're not going to have big open sunlight areas where they can go fast.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little different with the carpets, but like you said, Bill, I mean, you got heat tape behind them. That's essentially what I do. I just use a heat mat. But it's the same thing. I mean, it gives them a place to go. They'll sit. I guarantee you, your carpets sit up against that heat mat most of the day.
They do.
Yeah. And then they're active as shit at night.
I don't know, but I assume.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways to keep them, but I'm thinking I want to keep the carpets the same way as I keep the retics. Because I'm going to get 8 4x2x2s and stack them 4 high, so they're 8 foot. I got 8 foot ceilings in there, 2x2.
Oh, you're going to do the same room?
No, the other, I don't know if you saw my other room, but I have 3 rooms up there. So one's a retic room, and I'll probably make the other one partial carpet and hatchlings.
So you have 2 snake rooms at the house now, Bill?
That'll be cool.
I want 3. But I'd have to eliminate.
Man.
I'd have to eliminate the guest bedroom. I don't know how that would
Fuck
go
the
over.
guests.
We gotta
Get
build
rid of
you
the
a
guests.
shop, man.
They can stay at a hotel. The snakes are here to stay.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah. Nice,
Yeah.
dude.
I plan to build out a whole shop once we move, get a metal building built out, and that'll be the snake facility.
On your property?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's the way I think. On property is super badass. Or having someone that can live like on property. Bailey and I are thinking about like trying to do a warehouse, but it's not going to be at either of our places. Like we have to drive there.
You're
That's
right.
a lot of anxiety. Like you can't just go like stroll outside and take a look at your snakes. Like
Yeah. I got a
It's not the
quote,
same.
dude. I got a quote from because I build red iron buildings, but red iron's a little expensive. And I got a quote from a steel company out in a neighboring town next to me. They said they'd build me a 15 by 20 for fucking $4,000.
oh, nice.
And yeah, I was like, all day long. Let me get the funds together, and we're gonna do that. So I'll just pour the concrete, and then they'll come over. They said that's delivery and installment, so it was a no-brainer, really.
Damn,
Wow,
run
that's
power and
awesome.
everything.
Yeah, and then I'll just keep it all steel. You know, I'm not really gonna. For the walls, I'll do steel. You know, instead of fucking what do you call? You know, fuck. Like drywall. Instead of doing drywall, I'll just do steel, and then it's fireproof.
Just spray foam it or something, or what?
Yeah, I'll spray foam it for sure. But you know, then it's fireproof. I don't ever have to worry about anything burning down. You know, it's all metal and whatever. That'll be the end of it.
That's cool.
So that's
That's-
the goal.
That's a good plan, man.
Yeah, for sure. You'll
That's-
probably end up being real successful. I feel like once you start like getting into like having a snake space, like or like, you know, having dedicated snake rooms, that's when you really start pumping stuff out.
That's the goal. I gotta separate the building into like 3/4 snake room, 1/4 gecko room, because my wife loves breeding her crested geckos, but
Totally.
she'll have the smaller section. Hopefully she's not watching this, but she'll have the smaller section.
So,
Yeah.
You guys both haven't bred carpets yet, correct?
Right.
Nope.
So I've heard that Morelia, you know, hatchlings, they can be kind of finicky to start as feeders and stuff like that. I wonder if carpet pythons are similar, because I know green trees, like they're hit or miss with them starting off and eating by themselves and needing to be assist fed. I wonder if carpets are anything like that, or if they're just tanks and they just go off the rip.
I've heard that they're pretty easy going, but I've also
Nice.
heard that if they're not, you just get some lizard juice and squirt it on a rat, and that typically does pretty well.
For sure. You can just
Right.
rub the crested geckos on your
Right. Yeah, exactly. Get a little stank on them, you know. But I have heard that they're pretty easy. They're pretty ferocious eaters.
Yeah, it makes sense. Australia stuff is usually pretty.
Right.
The only Australia stuff I have right now for snakes is a Stimson's python, so Anatheresia.
I had one of those. I sold
Yep.
him immediately. He was epically angry all the time.
Really?
Was he a
I
little
just
one?
got a big female, just one big. Yeah, I'm looking to pair her up eventually, but yeah, I just got a big old female.
A wheat belt or whatever the other variety
Yeah,
is.
the other one, she's just very normal. She's a pig.
Right on. That's cool. That'll be fun.
Sure.
I was gonna breed mine Stimson for a little bit until he just never calmed down and just bit me every chance he got. So I sold him.
Yeah, be gone.
Yeah.
the end of that. All right. Well, I thought Dana was going to jump on here, but she's had some customers, which is good.
Working.
Busy bee, man.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, there she is. Jump on here, Dan. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, maybe we'll cut it a little short, this first one. And I think we had a nice little discussion on carpets. We'll see how it goes. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks for coming on, guys.
For sure. Yeah, it was a pleasure
absolutely,
chatting.
man. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
All right. You guys have a good day. Have a safe trip back, Ben.
Yep. Yes, sir. See you guys soon.
Bye.
Later, boys.
Later.